So let's get started. I haven't played Blitz for a while. I played the Spanish individual Blitz team championship and no, the individual team, yeah, very sharp. The Spanish Blitz championship and I scored 6 out of 9, which was pretty horrible. I lost in the last round. So my confidence playing Blitz is shaky. Still, let's get going. I got a couple challenges. I won't use any particular system. I'll slightly favor the guys who have been waiting longer, who are on the bottom of my list. But, oops. I'll pretty much click on whatever comes up. If this worked, it looks like I clicked on a bunch of people simultaneously. Very confusing. Let's see if something's going on. Here we got a game against André Kesselring. The feeling I played André Kesselring a lot already, but he was lowest on the list, so he's been waiting the longest. So let's do this again. And obviously I'm going to crush it. No question about it. Going for the Sicilian, I will play the goofy little move 2g6 here, which is not such a bad move if you're playing for a win. White's best options are, well, d4 of course is one of them, or a c3 or c4, but all of those are possible. And here after knight takes d4, little known trick, most people go bishop g7 or knight c6, but black can actually go knight f6 and transpose to the dragon, which might not be to everybody's liking, but it's a move order that could sometimes come in handy if your opponent plays, let's say, knight f3, d6, bishop b5 check, but you really want a dragon, you could give g6 a shot and play this line. Problem with the dragon is it's not such a great opening. Bishop d3 looks a bit suspect. f3 and queen d2 is a normal plan. I'll try to punish that immediately by going knight to g4, which could be a little dubious because of bishop b5 check when I think I have to go king f8, but it was too tempting trying to exploit this bishop d3 move. Still, I'm not sure it's such a good choice. Probably just castles. Keeping knight g4 in reserve was a little more circumspect. Is that a word? I think that's a word. Let's keep an eye on the chat. Yeah. Now we seem okay. Bishop e2 is not a good move by Mr. Kesselring. Now I'm just much better strategically and I didn't even have to give up castling or bragging rights to achieve this. After knight c6, yeah, white's position is pretty terrible. I could already think about knight takes d4 and queen to b6, but I see no reason to force events. I'll just castle when knight d4, queen b6 is probably a real threat now. And white is just strategically lost here. He lacks the two bishops, he has isolated pawns on e4 and e3, so this did go pretty badly. Especially, well, bishop d3 was bad, but after knight g4, he should have gone bishop b5 check, exploiting this slightly premature jump. Anyway, what can he try to do? Queen d3 is a legal move. I could go knight d4 and queen b6, but then rook d1. Not sure how clear that is, so I will just put my positional head on, go knight to e5, then bishop d7, rook c8, and I believe strategically my position is more or less winning, so ain't worried about nothing here. I dressed down today. I'm sporting my, this side, my Chess 24 shirt, which we were wearing in the Spanish team championship, where the team Chess 24 / VTI / Virgen de Atocha, longest team name in the history of chess, managed to hold the class, which was the goal. Our team was not that strong on paper, but we did alright, beat 2 of our direct rivals for relegation, and managed to stick around, featuring other Chess 24 stars such as Pepe Cuenca and David Anton, DBs, David Martinez. We had a good time in Linares at the Spanish team championship, but I'm still very upset. I played badly in the Blitz event. In the tournament I played kind of alright, had a lot of whites, so I can't be too proud about my score. I won against Alexander Fier and Kevin Spraggett, lost to Nisipiano, won like 2, 3, 4 rating points, so it wasn't a disaster, but nothing to write home about either. We still use that phrase, nothing to write home about? I don't ever write anything. Anyway, the position, yeah, knight f3, looks like another mistake. I can grab the pawn. Sorry, I sort of lost interest in the game because my position was so good, but I'll focus now because I have tricks. I'm threatening rook takes f4, which I'm very excited about. And there it goes. Winning by pinning. Sorry, Andre Kesseling, things do not look good for you. Hate to tell you. I don't really hate to tell you. What else is new? Yeah, not much. I've been busy watching the Sinquefield Cup, trolling the Spanish chats, doing my highlight videos, which you can find on YouTube or here on the site directly as well. Click on something. Click on watch live shows and you'll find them. C4, I'll just collect more pawns, I guess. I was happy to see Levon Aronian do well. Seems like most people were happy to see him do well. He seems to be well liked, that guy. Even though he's a big trash talker, believe it or not. But he's such a creative force and he's had a very bad 1.5 years. So always good to see him back to peak form. Andre Kesselring doesn't seem to be in peak form yet. He's, I don't know, a piece and 3 pawns down. Not good at counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 4. Yeah, piece and 3 pawns. That should make me favorite. Let's study the chat. Andre Kesseling says thank you and resigns. What's going on? Circumspect is a very good word. Thank you so much. Let's find a new opponent. This game, yeah, wasn't very exciting after the brief intermezzo in the opening where bishop d3 should not be a good move. But I got a little overzealous, another fancy word. I'm using all my fancy words, Svidler style today, with knight g4, which he could have exploited by going bishop b5 check. I can't really cover this because of queen takes g4, so I would have to go king f8. And my best guess is this is playable for black, but after castles, it feels a bit more shaky to take on e3 with my king on the open f-file. Let's find the next opponent. Who we got? Very hard to scroll. Scrolling really is a very hard thing to do. Let's play Kevedosian. Is that a name? Sounds Armenian, but he's sporting a Spanish flag. I'll scroll up in a minute, don't panic. Here we got Kevedosian. And I will go 1 e4, feeling brazen today. Kevedosian, what does that mean? My Spanish is not great, but you could translate it to what do 2 Jans see? Probably not. Anyway, we got a Spanish, a Ruy Lopez, speaking of Spanish, and Kevedosian goes for b5 after bishop b3, bishop c5. This is a line Peter Svidler made a video series about, and I must admit I haven't studied that video series in great detail yet, so I'm a little worried about running into preparation here by Kevedosian that I'm not familiar with. There's 2 options, c3 is one of them. This stuff I'm playing, knight takes e5 and d4 is the other one. And Kevedosian clearly knows what he's doing here. d6, blitzing out the moves. Only thing I can remember is that I once lost a game on the black side here against Shaba Balok. And if I'm not mistaken, he played this move f4 against me. When I played knight c6, c5 is supposed to be wrong for some reason which I do not know. Also, I did just realize that this is a 3-minute game, so I should speed up a little bit and move the theory talk to another day. Wondering if after knight c6 I can go e5. Takes, pawn takes. Looks sort of tempting. I think I'll just do it. Goes knight g6. This is possible as well. Could still go e5. And yeah, why not? I haven't really calculated anything, but my gut tells me that opening the position, even at the cost of a pawn, forcing his king to go to the center after de, queen d8, and then fe, should favor me. I have bishop f4 coming later, and hopefully I'm right. If he goes knight e4, I do have moves like bishop f7 or queen to d5. He goes c4, trying to lock out my bishop, and I think I will have to accept the challenge and eat stuff. Not literally, just take pawns. cb looks forced, fg, rook g8, or queen b6 check first if he so fancies. And we should give a check. Which check is the more precise one? I guess this check. He can't go bishop e6 because of f5. If he has to go king d7, something has gone wrong for black. It's knight e7, which also is asking for cruel and severe punishment. Let's try this. My point is bishop f5, bishop g5, and rook g7, f6. So he probably has to play f6 himself. But then once again, I do have some tempting options. Queen d5 is one of them. Queen h5 check is another. Which one will I choose though? I don't really like choices. f6, queen h5, king d7. I see no immediate knockout, but the position should be very good for me after a takes b5. Feels like there should be an immediate knockout too, frankly, but I can't see it. He takes, but now bishop g5. I was quite happy about my chances. Is there a defense? Rook b7, queen f3. Oh, bishop e6. I missed bishop e6. That's sort of embarrassing. Still like my position, but I should have seen this coming. How do we win? Rook e6, not good yet. Could just go bishop f6. Yeah, I think I will. This is a limited time game, but I really should have spotted that move. Check. Let's go away. Knight f5. Fair enough. Any threats? Don't see them. I'm already thinking about excuses. Should I lose this game? But I do still think I have a good position, so maybe it's too early for that. He still doesn't have any threats, does he? Maybe he did have a threat. Not fully there yet. Knight e3. Yeah, gotta take this one off and hope I somehow win. I'm threatening checkmate. That's reassuring at least. And I'm threatening this rook, so it's not so easy for him to make a move. Queen a7 probably. Then he resigns. That makes things even easier. Not that sure. Do I have a direct knockout after queen a7? Could go rook takes a6, which looks very tempting. Then b takes c2, and I got a little concerned about this pawn. Maybe no reason to. Maybe I can just go knight e2. Then try to overload his forces somehow. Something like queen b7, rook b6. And if he takes queen e7, checkmate. So I guess I was winning. But anyway, thanks for resigning. That gets rid of this crippling doubt I was having. Spicy Tuna is asking, how long does this last? This lasts 90 minutes. I'm the lead-in for the Spanish show, and I'll play those guys in the last game immediately after me. David Anton and Sabrina Vega will do a Banter Blitz in Spanish, so I will stop then at 7:30, and until then we will play. I'm not playing well yet. Must step it up. Let's play against GM Scorpion, who's not really a GM. That's just a lie. He's a FIDE master called GM Scorpion. Another Spanish guy. I think all these Spanish guys are already lurking in order to play against David Anton later on, and they try to warm up against me. Let's play the Vienna. My favorite opening these days. Very forcing stuff after e4, bishop b4. Well, e3 is playable, but not very scary. You go a6, if bishop c4, b5, and if a4, c5 equalizes, but b6 is a little more fun, trying to keep some more pieces on the board. And I like this system, at least for... No, I think I like it, not just for blitz games, but it's easy to play. He's going to play something like queen e2 or rook e1, preparing e4. I'll go bishop b4, trying to make that a little harder. And yeah, I think this is fine for black. What can I tell you? Here there's a bit of a choice. Of course, I can't remember theory as usual. Bishop d3 is the most logical move when I think I'm supposed to go c5. h3 is fine as well. I'll keep my options open. I could go c5, but I'll go queen e7 first, hinting at e5. Still can't play e4. Sometimes I play knight a2 and bishop back to d6. White hasn't accomplished much. So yeah, this b6 is not such a stupid move. That's pretty much all I'm saying. He's trying to repeat moves. Of course, we cannot have any of that. I'll go c5. Maybe e5 was better, actually. c5, now he can play d5, and I'm not so sure I have anything here. I'm not worried about being worse, but I'm not sure I have an advantage. Knight f6 and knight e4 is, I think, quite a typical maneuver in these positions. Bishop d2, rook d8. Yeah, this position is more or less equal, unfortunately. I'll make some random moves and then try to come up with a plan. I don't really believe in plans. I mainly just make random moves and hope my opponent blunders mate in 2 or something, like here after queen e5, knight e4, queen h2. No such luck, but I slightly improved the position of my queen, hopefully. Not sure if that's worth anything, but I'll take it. Knight d2, really trying to exchange pieces, this guy. I don't like it. Don't like it one bit. Let's keep pieces on the board. Another 3-minute game. Everybody wants to flag me. Don't they know that flagging is pretty much my only skill? You guys cannot flag me. You can checkmate me, but flagging is going to be very hard. b5 might have been a little too ambitious. Knight a3 is slightly annoying me because I think I have to go b4 and give him some squares. I don't like giving them squares. Takes here first, fair enough. Knight back to d2. Now I could go c4 as well. Then he would take because he's very eager to exchange stuff. And what would I do? Takes, queen takes, bishop c3. Once again, not worried the least about the position, but I'm not sure I'm better there. What are you going to do? Sometimes you aren't better, just have to continue making moves. Such is life. This bishop, unfortunately, is quite good on c3, so I think I have to exchange it. Queen f3. What does he want? Let's go here, I guess. I'm guessing he wants to go back to e2. No, he wants to give me stuff. I like when they give me stuff. Rook f5. What is this all about? This does not strike me as making a lot of sense. Can't I just go c3, rook f7, c2? I will, and then think, which is the clever thing to do as usual in Blitz. You can play badly or slowly, but you shouldn't do both. So I try to stay ahead on the clock. That's really the main advice I can share. That and know your openings. Queen f4 is attacking my rook, so I guess I better move it. Not sure if rook f8 was the most precise. Now he can hang around a little bit by going rook c5 and then trying to stop these pawns. Should not work in the long or even mid-term, but maybe in the short term. However, one down, but still one alive. I'll pre-move b2, show off my pre-move skills, and that's all she wrote. Thanks for the game, GM Scorpion. Yeah, these e3, b6 lines, I believe they're fine for black, and they're also quite easy to play, at least in Blitz. As I said, it's hard to claim a massive advantage, but that tends to be the case with the black pieces, and I'm quite happy with these positions. What's going on in the chat? That is so exciting. Jan only play boring openings. That's what I do. Challenges. Fierce Grace. Sounds a bit like Pierce Brosnan. Fierce Grace. Interesting. Choice of handle. Do we say handle? Username? German guy. Fierce Grace. Knight f3, g6. People have been playing that a lot against me recently, trying to lure me into the Grunfeld after 2 d4. So I've bravely played 2 e4 there to punish them. This is following my game against Alexander Fear. In that game I played a4, which is more my style really, not allowing this immediate b5 expansion. Here I'm sort of out of book, but as long as I got all my pieces in the center, how bad can it be really? Could be bad. He might go c5 immediately here. Not sure, I might have misplayed the opening. h6 looks a little random. He wants to go knight f6 without allowing me to play bishop h6, I guess. But it still does strike me as a little slow. Wondering what I want to do. After c5, I could play c3, but then he could take a knight f6, and knight g3, knight g4. Don't really like that. So I believe I will play the typically cautious h3 to take this knight g4 idea out of the position. cd4, I can just go bishop d4, which looks fine. Knight f6 is the logical move, when I'll probably just play knight g3. Then something like castle c3, and I should be a little better. He does go cd4, that's a surprise, to me at least, because I saw I could grab a pawn, and I do like grabbing pawns. Rook b8, fair enough, but I still grabbed a pawn. Let's try to not give it back too easily. I was going to play queen d2, but then maybe he can play bishop takes e4. Could go to some weird square like a3 and he can't recapture. Looks a little artificial, but who cares? Queen e1, then he can go e5. I'll go here, why not? Probably because it's a weird looking move, that's why not. Not sure about this one. Anyway, if I'm given one tempo, I'll go knight g3, defend my lovely e4 pawn, and be very happy about being a pawn up. He goes h5, but that's not threatening h4 just yet, so I'll play another half useful move, a5, fixing his pawn on a6 and taking out knight b6 or queen b6 or whatever options. Pawn is a pawn, what else can I tell you? Queen c7, fair enough. I'll continue my policy of making random moves. Rook e1, just overprotecting the e4 pawn. One of the dumber concepts. Nimzowitsch came up with this overprotection. You shouldn't really use all your resources to defend something that is already protected. But rook e1 did strike me as a normal move anyway. Could go knight c5. I'm not sure I want to take it. Probably not. I don't like giving up my bishops. Maybe I'll go knight c5, e5. Let's try to calculate that a bit. He goes e5, okay. That is pros and cons. The big con from Black's perspective is he's blocking in his bishop on g7. The pro is, yeah, that he can do something active in the center now. d5, I guess I should take that. Yeah, and I have to admit, I once again slightly mishandled the position, and now Fierce Grace, scary username, does have some compensation. f5, and the battle could really heat up. Let's jump and threaten cheapos. One drawback of h5 is this square is weakened, but he has such good control over the center that I'm not sure at all that I like my position here. Actually, I'm sure I don't like it, but I'm not sure if I'm better. That's maybe wording it more accurately. Don't see a good move. Fierce Grace is crushing me. I really don't see a good move. So I'll play a bad move, c4. Don't like it. Knight f4, I have to go bishop f1, and I have to go really, really passive. This is not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's focus. h4 looks natural, and I guess I can go knight to e2. Bishop h6 is another move that slightly annoys me. Knight c5 is possible, but I thought I could just chase him away with b4. Didn't really see the point to that. Now h4, Zwischenzug. But is this any good? Take, takes, takes. Not the prettiest pawn structure in the world, but I am, whatever, 2 pawns up. Black is probably still fine. Yeah, knight h5. Lots of compensation. It's quite unclear. Is g4 insane? We will never know if we don't try it out. I have a feeling I could blunder like a queen any move. Then again, I tend to have that feeling, and normally I don't blunder queens, so maybe it's just me. Queen c6. He's trying to, once again, go for cheapos, but I do know my cheapos. Don't try to cheapo me. He was threatening rook takes f1 and queen g2, checkmate. Hopefully I parried that. Hoping for cheapos in return, knight f4, queen h7 would be a bit of a turnaround. You can play, and probably should play, knight f6 when I don't have anything direct. I would just go bishop e3, cover the c5 pawn, take it from there. Fierce Grace, I'm still stunned by that username. Fierce. Who uses that word? He's fiercely calculating his options, but I don't see any other move but knight to f6. Could go bishop c8 or something, but that looks highly artificial. Yeah, knight f6 played, bishop e3, bishop c8. Let's try to hang on to our extra pawns, as crippled as they may be. Pawns are still pawns. They have feelings. I like my position now. If there's nothing too bad happening immediately, I can go rook d1, rook d6, or rook b1, rook b6, activating that rook, and I think black is in trouble. Maybe I should have gone rook b1 with hindsight. Let's do it now. Who cares about the tempo? And of course, as usual, my main goal is to win on time, and I am way ahead on the clock. Rook d3, I'll just ignore that. Go rook b6 anyway. After queen c7, I wish I could calculate stuff like rook f6. But then again, if I were calculating stuff, I would not flag guys. So I'll just do it. Not sure this was a very wise decision. I think I'm fine, but it probably wasn't necessary. He can't just go, rook e3 is a surprise. I thought he would just move his rook somewhere. Now, he does have a lot of nice dark squared control, but I do have a lot of nice pawns, which I think are worth more in this position. Still ain't over yet. That's a check. That's not a check. Still tricky to play. Always tricks in the position. Queen h7 check around. Rook h8 around. Have to be careful. He has 0.1 seconds left. That tempts me to play a move like queen h7 check, but I think that would be poor unsportsmanlike conduct. One on time, very interesting position, very complicated game. Not quite sure. I think I sort of went out of control after... Thanks for the game, Fierce Grace. After rook fe1, e5, where I was enjoying myself. But then after bishop e3, d5, black all of a sudden had a lot of compensation. Maybe I have to play a more precise move here, something like c4 to stop that d5 option. Not sure. Anyway, good game. Let's check in with the chat. Whale Songe says hello. Hello, Whale Songe. Anish Giri is great in drawing. I'm a fan of Anish Giri. Very sad to see all this trash talk about him. 21-year-old who goes unbeaten through 2 of these tournaments like Norway Chess and Sinquefield Cup. I do have tremendous respect for the guy. Let's find a new opponent. Cabernet. Not Fierce Grace, but still a good username. Cabernet. Is that some... Sounds like a wine. from Vatican City. Wow, and he plays one f4. Not a move you see that often, but can't be too bad. It's certainly better than one f5. I've had an ongoing discussion about the merits of one f5 with Mr. David Anton. c6 is a bit of a random move, not sure I really like it. The idea is to stir up some trouble with queen b6, stopping white from castling. But there's no reason to play this artificially. You could also just play something normal like castle, c5, knight to c6, and I think black is alright. Here white should go e3 and then castle, but that's not really much of a concession. And that's what Mr. Cabernet does. Not sure how I want to play this. I'll play this move, which I'm not sure about, because I do like my bishops, but I thought getting rid of this guy and then going knight d7 and e5 looked like an interesting option. A lot of discussion about the King's Gambit. I think my opinion about that is pretty well established. It's a bad move at any level. It loses a pawn and you don't get enough compensation for it. But I am happy that there's many different opinions on that topic out there. d4, knight to e4 looks logical. d4 is a logical move. I think he should have stopped e5 and he did. Now, my best guess is the position is roughly equal. I can't decide if I want to play f5 or not. Let's do it. Not sure I like this f5 move, because the problem is now I can no longer prepare e5 in the future. So what I'm hoping to get is some good knight against bad bishop scenario. I'm not quite sure how to get that, if that's realistic at all. Objectively, my best guess is the position is kind of equal. Knight d2 looks correct. I would go knight to f6. g4 he can do, but it doesn't trouble me all that much. I don't think there's any attack on the king side. And I will use the time he's spending on these moves to hopefully open up some other flanks. Fronts. Open up something. Freston Wizard asks, do you like f4, e5? Yeah, I think f4, e5 is fine. I've never looked at it because no one ever plays f4 and there's no real reason to study it. But probably it's a very playable gambit. Cabernet is trying to checkmate me on the king side. I'm not sure if I should stop that by going h5. I guess I should, just to annoy him. Else, yeah, h5 wasn't a massive threat in either case, but can't hurt to do this. And if he tries to open the position here, which he does, I think it might backfire, because I have a feeling I'm a little more developed and ready for battle on the king side than he is, as evidenced by this knight entering the action. Bishop h3. I still have to open a second front somewhere to win the game, but I do think my position is very good here. If he goes cd, rook c8, and ed, which is better, slightly weakens the f4 pawn. So I do like my chances, but I still have to win. Knight h5, is there any problems with rook g6? Does not look like. Knight h5 is just directed against him, developing with knight d2 when now f4 would be hanging. After rook g2, I will try to target some more stuff. Queen d8, threatening queen h4, and looks like some trouble. Cabernet probably has to play rook to g5 here, which I would grab because I like rooks. There he goes. Now let's shift our attention to the so-called H-file. Still need to deliver the knockout blow, but I do like my chances. Planning to double rooks as evidenced by my last move, rook h7. You can still hang around a little with rook to h1, but I have a feeling that the white defenses should be overstretched quite soon. Not quite sure where knight g3 comes to mind. Yeah, I think I can go knight g3 just to tie him up a little further. He has to go rook to h2. And now it's time to activate the fat lady. And I think the fat lady is also starting to sing in this position. White is just material down with a bad position. That tends to be pretty bad combination. Let's grab some stuff. Let's attack some stuff. I'm speaking very eloquently today. Grabbing stuff and attacking stuff, but I do like my position. Bishop c1, or what is he going to do? Probably has to go bishop c1. And Cabernet resigns. Yeah, that did not go well for Cabernet, I believe. Well, I was fine after the opening, but his main downfall was this aggression on the king side. G4, G5 you could argue about, but GH6 is definitely wrong. He's just opening up the position for me, not for his attack, and after that my pieces are just much quicker to their respective spots. Let's see if we have any challenges left. Chess player 4-5 something. I hope that the game will show up here in a minute. 4-5-4-6-7. There we go. From Germany. 4-5-4-6-7. What is that? His phone number? His area code? He says hi. I will say hi, being the great sportsman I am, and then play the Benko Gambit, which is a pretty terrible opening. But you gotta mix it up sometimes. Lose a pawn. That's the problem with this stuff. After b6, you don't lose a pawn. Here, yeah, there's many options. The critical one is e6 and he takes d5, which is a little boring. This is not a very good move, a5 and bishop a6, because now white can go f4, knight f3, e4, and build a strong initiative. But it's an interesting idea to mix it up a little bit, just trying to stop white from going e4 so easily. Queen a4 I've never seen. I guess I will take this pawn. Material equality, I feel better already. Knight f3, time to make the usual Benko moves, g6, bishop g7, castles. I guess my position is alright. The queen on a4 looks a bit out of place. It's not so easy for him to play e4. Well, he can play e4, but it gives up castling rights. So I'm quite happy here. Bishop f4, if bishop g7 is d6 a problem? Could be. Let's find out. Guess not. Still, I'll take it out of the position just so I don't have to worry about it later. Knight a4, I could go queen b4 check, but I'm not so sure I want to. I kind of want to keep that option in reserve should he go e4. Now this looks tempting. Haven't calculated it at all. Probably I should have calculated it at least a little bit. But I can grab stuff. If I can grab stuff, I tend to be happy. My idea was to go knight c3, knight takes e4. But this makes things easier. It's a Benko position, but instead of being the usual pawn down, I'm a pawn up, which is a nice change of pace. Knight c3. Anything is good for me. Guess I'll just take this guy. Be a little careful. I don't want him to lock up the queen side with a4, knight c4, knight b5, when it could become a little bit tricky to convert my advantage. q1, don't we? So needy. I don't really want to go rook e8 either. I want to go rook to b8, but I'll take a timeout, put this king here to cover e7, and then go rook b8. That was my very deep thought process. Knight g5, h6, I don't see a problem, and now my rook is on the square it's supposed to be, and I can start some more active operations. I'm playing slowly too. Why am I so slow? I'm just not gonna speak anymore. Just make moves in silence. Take pawns, as many as I can get. Exchange pieces, all the good stuff. That's why you come here, for all the excitements, all the crazy sacrifices, the grabbing of pieces in one move. There is so much action in these games. The not resigning, the grabbing rooks. So much stuff going on. And chess player 45467 does resign. Good game. Chess player. Where do things go wrong? Yeah, I think this queen a4 move in the opening is a little strange. White should really play f4 here, and then the plan is after g6, let's say knight f3, bishop g7, to play e4 and crush me in the center before I get fully developed. At least that was a problem with this line last time I checked, which admittedly is a while back. Next game. Never know whom to play. I'll just should click on names randomly. Hempel, another German. Full of Germans this side. Who likes the Germans? Let's be honest here. And yeah, I went to my reflexes, playing boring stuff, knight f3, d5, d4. That's more or less my default line these days. Even one d4 is way too risky for me. And I'm on the white side of this position, which I've played with black a lot. Bishop b4, the trendy Ragozin just covered it for my Game of the Day video from the last round of the Sinkefield, where Levan Aronian, the tournament winner, played against Veselin Topalov. Topalov went for the immediate bishop g5 without cd-ed. But I think cd-ed, well, it's easy to say. It's a more principled way to play. Problem is black has been doing fine here recently after both h6, bishop h4, c5, and after knight bd7, the move that Aronian likes. So it's very hard to get an edge out of the opening with white. That's really the story here. Bishop e6 is a strange move. And I will go into punishment mode. Queen a4 check and knight e5. I'm not sure if knight e5 is correct. It looks slightly overzealous, to use my favorite word again. Problem is I know some fancy words, but not that many, so I have to use them all the time. Bishop c3 directed against me, capturing that bishop with knight c6 and queen b4. And his position looks bad. Both knights are pinned. Yes, there's nothing better than castles. Give up this pawn and hope to get some compensation. He doesn't want to give me that pawn. That's too bad. Now I have a pleasant choice between knight takes d7, bishop takes f6, and knight takes c6. Queen b3 is actually also a good move. I'll go queen b3, just because I saw it last and it attracted my attention. There you go, that's the secret of Grandmaster calculation. Think like a Grandmaster, choose your candidate moves carefully, and then randomly play one of them. No, seriously, no one makes a list of candidate moves and then calculates the ensuing tree. That just does not happen in practice. Players are more like a yo-yo. You see some idea in one line, then you jump to another line where that idea could be useful, then you go back to one line. It's very hard to standardize this thought process, at least. Any Grandmaster I've talked to, no one told me, yeah, I make a list of candidate moves and go through them. Everyone just jumps back and forth, and no one really knows how they think about chess. I could have cashed in here in a number of ways with bishop f6, forcing gf and knight d7, or knight d7 and then bishop f6. But I had the feeling this stuff is not going to run away and I should go for a bit of development. Problem is, objectively, he should probably try knight takes e5, followed by h6, and then g5, when things aren't that easy, but I am sort of gambling on the fact that he's not going to do that, and that I can later, when being back to do so, go for this bishop f6 stuff. Here we go. Which one to take? Or nothing at all? Everything favors me. I think I'll take the knight. I'm not sure I like that decision. Tough decision. After bishop takes, I wanna castle and then bring my queen back over to the king side. B takes c might be a better move, activating this rook and reinforcing the d5 pawn. I would play queen d1 as well, when I should be better, but Nothing too dramatic yet, frankly. Hempel holding his own here, but he has a bunch of pawn islands. And as Nigel Short likes to say, the Minister of Tourism, he likes islands. In chess, we don't like islands so much. I'm not sure that's what he likes to say. I'm paraphrasing. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, so if my voice changes, it's probably that I'm trying to sound like whatever podcast I've been listening to. I've been listening to a lot of WTF, no idea what that stands for, with Mark Maron, where he interviews people, mainly actors, comedians, but he also had Obama on the show. I quite enjoyed it. And here I'm attacking 2 pawns, which is nice. Should b5. Is there any direct punishment? Probably not. Probably have to play boringly again. So sorry. I wish I was more entertaining, but it doesn't come naturally to me. Well, grabbing pawns does come extremely natural. Rook c1. Did I say rook c1? That's what I was thinking. Rook b2 is the move he actually played. I'll play a4 and then rook c1. What's going on in the chat? Suki Ray is asking, Jan, who is your favorite to top the West this NBA season? That's a very tricky question. It's really anybody's guess. I guess you gotta go with Golden State. They are the defending champions. They brought everybody back except David Lee, who didn't play much of a role. So you gotta go with them. I want to see the Spurs do well, and I have a feeling they will do well, but I'm not so sure they can fit in Aldridge so seamlessly, so it might take a while. Oklahoma, you don't know what's going to happen. Is Durant back healthy? They could be a force. Houston got Ty Lawson. I don't like Houston, but they're a good team. The Clippers, they improved their bench. West is a bloodbath. I really have no clue. I'm rooting for San Antonio, but any of these teams I mentioned could win the West and the title. I'm sure most of you guys are very interested in my NBA opinions. I'm trying to talk less and less about chess and more about basketball on this show. Let's give it a check. Why not give it a check? How passively can I possibly play? Even I feel bad about making a move like queen to d1. Can't get myself to do it. Now I should probably calculate something like rook to b2, queen c8 check, king g7, rook takes c6. I was talking about the other rook. This move looks a little strange. Time to make a luft and get my passed pawn running. Düsseldorfer asks if I'm gonna follow the Eurobasket at all. No, I'm not interested in Eurobasket in the slightest. I might watch the occasional game if I catch it on TV or read the sports news. But no, I only follow the NBA. And I just blundered queen takes c5 by making g3, which was really dumb. He missed it too, which is nice, but I should not have allowed that. Now I'm kind of winning again. Time to do something for once. Let's attack a pawn instead of just defending them. After rook c4, I will go rook b1, threatening a check on b7, which is unpleasant to meet. Rook a4 does not help black's cause much either, because I still have this check on c7. Let's give some checks. This one maybe. Good game, Hempel. Batuhan Gunaidin says, make a match with me, Jan. Sorry, only premium members allowed. Strict rules, we gotta keep the lights burning in here. I'm only playing premium members. The good news is we got quite a few of them these days, so thank you guys for becoming premium and for making it harder for me to choose opponents. Whom do I play? I guess I should follow the rule I just set for myself earlier and randomly click on names. So I'll just do that. Mr. AFB, another German. Looks like I'm favoring the Germans. I don't at all. I don't like Germans, as we've mentioned. And I am German, so I can say that. Probably I still can't. And it's not really true. Anyway, he plays a Caro-Kann. I play this 2 knights system, which I always liked. It's recommended by my boy Paco Vallejo. And white gets the 2 bishops for free after 5 moves without any concessions. So how can this not be good for white? That's my question. To the theory books who've claimed that black has a good position here. I never understood that. The problem is I never looked at this either after knight f6. I think I'm supposed to sacrifice a pawn with bishop d3, d, e, knight e4, queen d4. And I don't know how that line continues. But I will just confidently play bishop d3 and hope things go well should he go knight f6. More deep planning. Takes with a pawn on e4 immediately. I guess knight e4 is a move there, but I can also just go queen e4 and enjoy my 2 bishops. I really do like my 2 bishops. After knight f6, I'm losing a move with a queen, but it's not so bad. I think Paco covered stuff like this. You go g3, bishop g2 castles. And you have a small but lasting advantage out of the opening. Knight a6 is sneaky. He hopes I will go g3, then knight b4, queen d1, queen takes d4. But I did study my knight forks. I really did. Snitcher says, choose me, I'm a cute dog. Woof. Sounds a little creepy, Snitcher, you're gonna have to admit. But I might choose you if your name pops up on the list next. I honestly have no idea whom to choose. And I do it very, very randomly. I'm tired. Then again, you could argue I'm always tired. My sleeping rhythm really went a bit out of hand because of the Sinkfield Cup. The games tended to last till 2 a.m. Then sometimes I was doing a video after that. So I'm a mess. Goes c5, which is logical on one hand. He has to open the position before I'm fully developed. It's dangerous on the other hand because he's opening the position against my 2 bishops. Bunch of tempting options here. Bishop g2, cd, bishop b7. What's going on there? Let's just play it. All this thinking, no one ever does anybody any good. And Amanon has spotted the problem. Where's your coffee? I agree, I should get a coffee. Did I have a coffee somewhere? Hang on, let's get my coffee. That's an excellent suggestion. Back in 1 second. I can probably still talk while getting my coffee. Here's coffee. Oh, and AFB was fair and waited, did not make a move while I went to get my coffee. That is very sporting of you and much appreciated. Not really, just make a move. Mic drop? I don't think there is any mic. I have this huge mic hanging over my head. Queen d7. Must defend the pawn. Whale Songe, you might want to revisit this line you just posted. It includes a bunch of illegal moves. While I'm still desperately trying to defend my pawn. He castles, I shall castle as well. Someone saying this is why the reason I gave up the Caro-Kann. That sounds drastic, but you should not give up the a6 knight. That's a much bigger problem. And yeah, sorry about that. AFB, good game. I do believe this is a good line against the Caro-Kann. Very easy to learn, very safe, and promises some advantage. What else could you want from life? I don't know, probably many things. Let's play Robbery. I believe Robbery is not a reference to the former Bayern Munich attack formed out of Robben and Ribéry, but it's his actual name. The guy's called Rob Barry. Am I correct in assuming that, Mr. Robbery? Rob Barry. From the United States of America. Must be early in the morning there, right? Like 11 or something. Crazy early. And it seems like robbery is still asleep, so I'm gonna count till, let's say 5, and then move on to the next game. 5, 4, 3. There he goes. Countdown always works. T4. I will play the move which I've spent the better of the last 3 weeks making fun of. Horrible move, the move bishop to the move f5 on the first move, weakening my king's position. Bishop g5 is one of many decent moves trying to exploit that. Knight c3 is another one. And of course there's also the option of just going g3, bishop g2. All lines are good against the Dutch defense, but it does lead to sharp play, which I guess is the reason why some people like it. I think I've played this position myself. Can't remember a single thing. Knight c5, b6, knight b3 is what I used to do, and then I believe they go knight h6, knight f7, trying to prepare some e5. Knight g3 also looks like a totally reasonable move to me here. And that's what he does. I will stick with his knight h6 move. Not sure it's a great move, but it's kind of charming to put the knight on f7, try to target the bishop, and support the e5 advance. But before I do all that, I will pin him. I think he should have avoided this. Start with queen d2 or maybe knight e5. Looks a bit unpleasant, this pin. He can go queen d2 when I should probably not take on f3 because of bishop h6. But this was my plan, go knight f7, and now bishop f3 is still an option. However, the position is far from clear if he just castles queenside. I haven't really spent that much time on development, so it's a mess. Trying to calculate here, long castles, knight g5, queen g5, bishop f3, gf. Looks too scary, doesn't it? Maybe I'll just make a random development move after long castle, something like knight c6, see what he does. Bishop e3, that looks a little passive. And that's... bishop f3 is slightly risky. Can I play more strongly maybe? e5, takes, d4. So many options. c5 is also a move. Let's play c5. Probably the worst move in the position. Nah, it can't be too bad. If he has to go c3, then something has gone wrong. Then I have many options. Bishop f3 followed by cd4. And knight c6, for example, looks quite good. So I'm not sure what he should do. I could think about dc5 when maybe I'll take on b2, but then rook b1. Probably won't. h3 just seems to be asking for trouble because now I can grab stuff. And the risk of repeating myself, capturing pawns is one of my skills, as is capturing bishops. Should probably go bishop g6 as a desperado, thinking if I can play the fancy knight e5 then. There's no need for it, I could just go hg6, which looks winning. Or many other moves, but Rob Barry resigns. I think he just miscounted how many times I was attacking the d4 square. So, traumatic moment for me. I won a game with one f5. You're not gonna see that again. I don't like that move very much. And I will find a new opponent. What's going on in the chat? Oh, there's some action. c4 trap his bishop. I think he played h3, yeah, then instead of cd4, c4, well, didn't trap the bishop could have returned, right? So cd4 looked pretty good. New game. Mr. Dillier. I'll scroll up so we can see all the action. Another German. I never checked the flags. a3, terrible move. Giving up the first move advantage by playing a3 and not d4 or e4, one of these good moves. Still with white you can do a lot of stuff. He's probably not worse yet, but Imagine you would have played a developing move like g3 or knight c3 instead of a3. Wouldn't that be nice? Still have to decide how to punish this very punishable offense. I will play a move that fully justifies a3, play the move c5 when he can go dc5 and try to hang on to the pawn. However, I don't want that to happen, so I would go knight to e4, stopping b4, and then recapture the pawn. If he goes d5 or knight c3, then a3 does not make a lot of sense, and I'd have achieved my goals. Not sure what my goals are. Don't know how he wants to recapture. Knight d4 is more solid, but not very scary, to say the least. E d4 was probably more principled. I would have played d5, and he can go c5 once again, trying to make some sense of the move a3, because there, after c5, it could support the b4 advance later on. Pre-move. Snorro says, as a freeloader, it is only fair that as a non-premium member, my question would remain overlooked. I do agree. Queen b3 has been played. Dillier is trying to exchange stuff. How do I feel about that? I don't know. I think I don't like it. I think I will keep queens on the board. Scare him with the option of bishop takes d4 and knight to c6, which hopefully will scare him. Tex-Mex asks, Tex-Mex22, Jan, how did you get better after 2000? Is that the year 2000 or the rating 2000? Because in the year 2000, my rating was already much higher than 2000. So it's a confusing question. And I hope I confused Dillier with queen to d8, which I quite like. I think bishop d4 and knight c6 is a threat he has to, at the very least, take into account very seriously. Rating 2000. I don't know, I was so young. I sort of improved quickly, or without it feeling like work, till like 2-350, and then I got stuck a little bit. But I don't know, I was just a kid obsessed with chess. I read chess books, I played in tournaments, rapid tournaments, kids tournaments, all kinds of tournaments, and I was improving. But as long as you digest a lot of chess material and you enjoy it, I don't think it's you have to study openings, or you have to study tactics, or you have to study rook endings, or you have to study whatever. If you like chess and study stuff like watching these very educational videos of mine, I think you will improve automatically. But the problem is, if you ask most grandmasters, how do you improve from, I don't know, let's say 1600 to 1800, or from 2000 to 2200, they don't really know. And there are people who have more qualified opinions on these topics. What I'm very qualified in is grabbing pawns. There, I don't think anybody's more qualified than me. Not sure that was the best way to play, frankly, but it is a pawn. I do really like pawns. Dillier resigns. That's way too early to resign, Dillier. Should continue. Knight to d4, attacking my bishop and my queen. I would have to go bishop d2, queen f6, and I am better, but it's no reason to resign. Anyway, thanks for the game, Mr. Dillier. What's the time? 1905. Oh, we still got time. At 1920, I should probably start playing those Spanish guys as the final game of my show and the first game of their show. Not sure if it's 1920 or 1930. I will just see if they're around. Whom do we play? Mr. Elion. Elion? I have a feeling I played a lion before as well. Not sure. Let's stick our head into the lion's mouth and play d4. He's German again. This is really an all-German edition today. Apologies to all the non-Germans. Probably not true. We've played a US guy and some Spanish guys. A lot of Germans around. I will go for the fianchetto. I have never found a line I fully like against the King's Indian, so I tend to switch around, and the fianchetto feels closest to home at the moment. I'm not a huge specialist, frankly, and this is not even tongue-in-cheek. I really haven't studied it as deeply as I normally would, but I like the ensuing structures. This is a sharp line which I'm not very familiar with. I somehow recall some stuff with knight e5, b3, c5, knight e2, b5. How does that line go? Probably they go rook b8 first. Can't remember. How does this go? Do I play rook c1? Rook c1 looks logical. Should study more theory. Then again, theory is already my main expertise. Probably I should study more of everything else. But this line I'm trying to remember. This was some forced stuff, knight e2, b5, f4. And I can't recall how it went, but we shall find out. Lyon seems to know what's going on here. Fortunately, I really don't. It's taking some time, which is good. I'm sure this position has been played in games of strong players. I just wish I could remember stuff. b4 looks natural. Knight a4, knight takes e4. Bishop e4, rook e4. What's going on? Knight c5, rook e3. Doesn't seem to work. Ooh, I'm gonna have to think. He does play b4, knight a4, knight e4. What do you do there? This looks extremely familiar, at least. Takes, knight c5, rook e3. I can't. It doesn't seem to work, does it? What else can I do? I could go knight d5. That's what you get for entering sharp lines and not having a clue. Knight a4, knight e4. Bishop e4, rook e4. Is there any trick I'm missing? I really don't see it. Knight c5, rook e3. Maybe I mixed up the lines. Maybe the theoretical position is with the rook on e1 instead of the rook on c1. That's possible. That would explain the mess I find myself in. So let's get out of it. Let's freestyle. Play knight d5 and hope it doesn't lose instantly. But something has gone very, very wrong. Yeah, I think the theory lines with the rook on e1 instead of the rook on c1. Because, yeah, there's always stuff hanging here, which I didn't like. Something has gone wrong here. Probably even rook e6 is possible. Or knight takes t5. I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up after the video. As I said, I lack a bit of detail knowledge in these g3 lines, but I quite like the ensuing positions. Takes, I guess I have to take, right? FD1, rook CD1. Other moves. Something's gone wrong. Rook e6 is already a threat, right? Problems. I have a feeling I'm blundering stuff. Yeah, I did blunder stuff. Let's keep a poker face. Hope for the best. There's some tricks still left. Bishop f8, queen c6, bishop b7 looks winning, but then I have queen takes d7, and it's maybe not so winning. Tricks. Gotta rely on tricks. Might still be bad for me. We will find out. Bishop d5. That's possible. Yeah, this has not gone well. But the position is not too bad either yet. It's not great, but probably it's not losing. Pawns are still equal. I am still in the game. However, I've played slowly and badly. This is usually not a good combination, as we know. So I'll switch to playing quickly and badly from now on. Don't like my position. You should just take on f5. d6 is fine too, but I see no reason why he wouldn't take that pawn. Problem is, it's very hard for me to improve my position. E4, so aggressive. Probably a good move. Yeah, I don't like it. Do not like it one bit. I'm gonna have to fight for my life. Not my life, really. Fight for surviving this game. That sounds less dramatic than fighting for my life. Tempted to go knight b2. I'm not sure if that's any good. I think it's probably not. Giving up this a2 pawn is too much. I really, really want my knight on c4. But yeah, I think that was a bit too much. No tricks, really. Jan is playing extremely well. Don't like rook d8 though, because that allows my king to pass. Not sure. Rook d1 is losing immediately, and if I should have taken here, but this looked more interesting. Complicated. My best guess is I'm still in trouble, but I will keep hanging around. I don't like d7. Or do I? I don't know, it's a mess. Rook d8, I have rook e1 check. Maybe it's not so easy anymore. The over-under on toilet breaks during this show, I'm gonna set at 1, because I do feel certain need already. Bishop f2, very deep. That does not work. He's panicking. But maybe the position was tough already, because rook e1 check and king c7 stuff was a real threat. Now it looks like I'm just winning, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is over. Pity for Jan, good for me, because he really outplayed me in that game, but then I sort of managed to fight back with this passed d-pawn. I have to look up the opening if I mixed up something. I believe I was thinking about the position. He says Glückwunsch, yeah, sorry about that, Jan. I believe I mixed up the lines. I believe the line I was talking about is with the rook on e1, which changes things down the line. I still play something like this. But here after b4, that's what confused me. I guess this is the line. Looks weird as well. Bishop a1 here. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look this up. It's one of the more concrete lines. I thought it favors white if white knows what he's doing. I clearly didn't and got in trouble. Let's play one more game. 1916. Yeah, I think we have time for one more. Before that, I will go for my customary 1 minute 28 second break, and then I'll be back. See you guys very soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for, I believe, the final 2 games of this show before I hand over to our Spanish colleagues, David Anton, who's a terribly strong chess player and blitz player, and Sabrina Vega, the strongest female Spanish player in history, if I'm informed correctly. Let's try to win a game so I don't have to curse myself and cry myself to sleep as usual tonight. Who do we play? Let's play Tsaro. Oh, it's a 3-minute game and he's strong. That was a horrible choice for last game. But what can you do? He's German too. I really don't look at the flags. It's just that everyone's German. I'll play quickly and badly. And I'll play the Vienna every game. I do like the Vienna. Plays one of the most boring and solid setups you could against it. The position is comfortably equal for black, but once again, it's not going to be so easy to make stuff happen. However, I do have a pretty good track record from these almost symmetrical positions, because black's pieces easily can get a little more active, and all of a sudden white can be in some small trouble. And ED4 changes things, of course. Now we have an isolated pawn position, which looks nice for me, frankly. Sure, he's gonna be tempted. Oh no, he wasn't tempted to threaten mate in. Could take that guy, but I don't think I want to. Maybe I should have, I'm not sure. Knight takes e5 was a very plausible move. Plausible, possible, both. But yeah, I like my position. He has an isolated pawn, which is nice for later, and my pieces are well placed. His bishop on f4 looks a bit funny, but it's doing stuff. It's targeting this guy, and he wants to exchange things. Normally, if you do have an isolated pawn, you don't want to exchange things, because you do have an isolated pawn. But it was kind of logical, because my pieces were so active. Not sure on which diagonal to keep this bishop. I think I'll keep it here, just to be annoying, and control the c1 square. Could also make a case for bishop d6, certainly. Bishop e4 is really into exchanging stuff. Slightly desperate to exchange stuff, some might say. He's even willing to give up the whole queen just to exchange my bishop, which I think is taking the concept of exchanging too far. Thanks for the game, Zaro. And yeah, that didn't go so well. What time is it? 1921. Let's see if our Spanish friends are already here. Mr. DBs, are you there? Are you challenging me so I can do the handover? Maybe they want to start at 7:30. We haven't really planned this through. I don't see him, so I think I can play one more game. No DBs here yet. Then instead, I'll play someone who's not German. I'm telling you right now. No more Germans today. Sorry, Germans. Seems like most of my challengers are Germans. Even a guy called Max Value is German. Cauchemar de Roi is also German. Nothing of this makes any sense. Okay, I'll click on the next name. Germans are back in the mix because everyone seems to be German. Oh, and I scrolled down again. Sorry about that. O series. I don't know where O series is from. It doesn't say. So there's a chance she is not German. Plays d4. I'll play g6. Not my usual move, but Brings up some childhood memories. I used to play this stuff a lot, hoping for knight c3, c5 with a weird position. The problem is if they go knight f3, you can't do that. And if they go e4, you also can't. After e4, d6 is probably best. Knight c6 is what I wanted to play as a kid. It's not particularly good. The idea is after d5 to go knight d4, but yeah, knight f3 is a problem. And if e5 there, de5 or d5 both give a bit of an edge. Here after d6, white could play d5 if he so fancied. Bishop e3 I'm not sure about. No, bishop g4 makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, this is some theoretical line, right? Bishop f3, e5, d5, knight d4. I think this is theory. gf looks a little strange. I think you should take with the bishop. Because now if you took this knight on d4, which is quite a strong knight, then the dark squares will be seriously weakened because of gf3. So bishop f3 was more natural. Takes, and yeah, now you can see weaknesses on the dark squares, which wouldn't be there if there was a bishop on f3 and a pawn on g2. Still, we've only just begun. Let's see what Osiris comes up with. Queen d3, all right. It's too tempting to go queen h4. Not sure if it's a good move, maybe as some counterplay with c5 or queen b3, but I do want to clamp down on these dark squares. You know what, I'll even offer him the lovely d4 pawn just to get my dark square grip going. Queen d4, knight h5 and knight to f4. Problem for Osiris is if he doesn't take it, I'll still do it, so he probably should take it and hope for the best, but he's caused himself some trouble with his g takes f3 move. That's my opinion. Long castles makes sense, just taking the king away from the danger zone, but I do still have my positional trumps. Not that interested in the f2 pawn. I might take it later if it's convenient. But for now, bring the knight to f4 is a much higher priority. Queen b3, let's go knight f4 anyway, and then think. I still don't care about the f2 pawn, I'll just castle. The f2 pawn, I'll only take it if it's... I don't see anything better to do, it's not that relevant. Still, it is a pawn, and normally I do like to grab them. c5, this looks a little desperate. I'll take it, I guess. Knight c4, and now for the punishment. Let's start with this quiet little move, defending b7, but mainly planning b5, followed by c4. Queen b5 does stop that idea, which is very unfortunate, but maybe not forever. I could just go queen f2, which looks winning, but somehow I don't like it. Don't see anything better though, so I have to do what I do. Grab pawns. Grab knights. No, that's a bishop, it's not a knight. Some spectacular chess as usual, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? But only Spanish? Well, it starts in 5 minutes. Go and get it fast. Okay, this changed the evaluation completely. I'm not sure I'm following. 92. What are you up to, Osiris? Go away. Keep going away. Okay, now you can stay. Quite like my position due to the fact that I'm a piece and 3 pawns up with an attack. c3 or d3. And Osiris does not wait for me to decide. Thanks for the game, Osiris. I believe that concludes the regular part. And yeah, I was joking, of course, about the no Germans No, I wasn't joking about the no Germans. I was joking about the disliking Germans and all that stuff. It's good to see we have so many premium members in Germany. I happen to be German. Don't tell anybody. And that's it. Let's see if we got a challenge from our Spanish guys to hand over to their show, which will start within the minute. But you know these... I shouldn't make enemies with the Spanish as well. So I'm not going to say anything bad. I don't see them here yet. Where are they? I don't know. I just don't know. I will challenge them. Funny thing is... Let's try to find them. Oh, I should probably switch to full screen so you can't see all the intimate details going on here. I'll issue a challenge to Mr. DBs, even though it's not really DBs, it is David Anton, the Spanish Blitz champion, and Sabrina Vega. They're still all in Linares, where they've played chess all month in Spain. They had the team championship, the individual championship, the Blitz championship, I don't know what other championships. So that's where we set up our studio, covered the sink field and the Spanish individual championship and the Spanish team championship. They're all still there. But it looks like DBs is not here yet, so I will play someone else in the meantime. I will play against whomever I just clicked on. I believe it was Raffaello. Yeah, here we got Mr. Raffaello. 3 minutes, another strong player. I'm going to have to speed up. He goes for c5, so aggressive. People are so aggressive these days. No one just wants to play e6, d5, take it from there. Everyone wants to go c5, sacrifice a pawn, fianchetto their bishop, all this crazy stuff. This line is a line I'm a little familiar with. Bishop e7 looks like a mistake, because I will go e5 and the knight will have to get back to base, which probably was not the idea. I'm taking a wild guess here. Good outcome of the opening, but it ain't over till it's over. I do like my position though. Knight h6 probably. Yeah, knight h6 looks best. h5 you can do, but I'm not that worried about it. Maybe I should have gone to f3, not sure. Maybe, maybe not. Raffaello does not seem into the concept of developing pieces all that much. No, I'm kidding. I think pre-moved this bishop e7, didn't expect e4 and had a tough position since then. I still have to punish him for all his sins. So I'll go here. How do we punish him? Queen f3, rook f5. It might be time to bring the queen back home. Not sure if this is the best move. Probably it's not, actually. But still, my position is pretty nice. Maybe I should have gone rook f4. Yeah, rook f4 was probably a good move, actually. Not playing well, but at least fast. b5. So aggressive. Trying to calculate here, bc, bishop f5. Here I wanted to take. Can I take? Oh no, I can't take. My bishop is hanging. That's sad. And I'm gonna have to develop a piece with a very heavy heart. Don't like that developing thing that much either. It was a strange move as well. The rook is all the way back home. My pieces are a bit funny over the place as well, but I do have a significant lead in development, and that should count for something at some point, right? At least that's what I hope. Taking a little time out just to avoid any b4 unpleasantness. Bishop takes a3. This guy really knows no fear. How do we win? Bishop d2 is what I wanted to do, but then he has queen a1 check, which annoys me a bit. So I think I'll just go a3. He's committed so many crimes against the laws of chess, and I'm still not sure what's going on. Well, he has not committed the crime of not grabbing a lot of pawns, so we gotta give him that. My position has to be winning. You can't not develop a single piece and hope it works, but I still have to prove it. Let's take a little risk. Why not? What would life be without taking a little risk once in a while? Probably less risky. That's a check. That's also a check. I planned that in advance if he takes rook f8 checkmate. Thanks for the game, Raffaello. And yeah, that was bit unfortunate, not for me of course, but in the opening e4, bishop e7, I think there was some half pre-move after that e5, and black is in deep trouble. Normal moves are bishop b4 or queen c7. Let's see if Mr. DBs is finally around. Maybe they started their show without me. That would be heartbreaking. No, there they are, our Spanish superheroes who will take over the Banter Blitz banner. This is the last game, and the first game of their show, I believe. I'm playing against David Anton, Sabrina Vega, and LDB's David Martinez, International Master David Martinez, Grandmaster David Anton, International Master Sabrina Vega, and I hope they spend a lot of time discussing the first moves between them so that I will win on time. I am very, very scared of David Anton as a blitz player. He's just very strong. So I'm going to have to play my most solid line and hope nothing too bad happens to me. I think they played the line everybody plays now, 6d3, recommended by Peter Svidler in his video series. It's a very unpleasant line. Yeah, there we go. At least for martial players like myself, because you can't get your usual routine, a sharp position in the martial, but you have to deal with this boring stuff. It's not too bad, especially c3 I think is supposed to be kind of harmless actually, but it certainly is less exciting than the martial positions. However, in the martial you could also get something similar, so I shouldn't complain too much. Here I always mix up the plans. In general, the black plan is to go rook e8, h6, bishop f8, knight c6 in one order or the other, but I never know in which order. Probably not starting with h6, for example. Knight e3. Let's go bishop f8. The point I started with h6 and not with, let's say, rook to bishop f8 is that then bishop g5 is sometimes a bit unpleasant. This position, I'm not sure what's going on. I will bring my knight back to c6 for lack of better ideas. And we have sort of a typical position, knight h2 or whatever. I could go d5. I guess I will. Why not d5? Let's grab some space in the center. All of this looks vaguely familiar somehow. I might have had a similar game or position once. Knight hg4, knight takes, pawn takes, d4. Not sure what my conclusion was about this stuff. Maybe my conclusion was it's horrible for black and it should not be done at any cost, but I hope it wasn't. So do I go d4 or do I start with, let's say, bishop e6 here? I think I'll start with this. To d4, knight f5. This knight is annoying me a little bit. I don't know how to kick it away. Not sure about bishop e6. Maybe d4 was more principled. Still don't know how to deal with knight f5. That's my main issue here. If he takes on d5, he would get the two bishops, but I believe you don't want to exchange this powerful knight for even a nice bishop. So I'm not that concerned about that, but I'm concerned about other stuff. Just as I said it, they took my bishop. Bishop b3, fair enough. I guess g5, trying to activate the other bishop. Now queen f3, that's threatening some cheapos with bishop f7. How do we react? Could go rook a d8, bishop f7, queen c6, rook d3, but then a6 is hanging. So I think... tricky. Doesn't feel like my position is too bad. I just need to play cleverly, which is a huge challenge. I'll do something weird. Why do I do that? One should never do weird stuff. At least it makes them think, but I don't like this move anymore. I was thinking rook e4, queen e4, rook e8, and I would have compensation, but I'm not that sure about that verdict anymore. We shall find out. He can also go d e4. He or she, I'm not sure who's making the moves. Could be Sabrina making the moves, could be David Anton making the moves. If you're watching the Spanish show, keep me posted. Are they cheating? Am I playing a super strong supercomputer? Am I playing DBs and I'm just freaking out? Am I playing David Anton? We will never know. Probably we will know, actually. Queen e2, playing it safe. Now I guess the position is roughly equal. I might be... No, I don't think I'm worse. I was going to say I might be slightly worse because of the two bishops, but my pieces are nice and active, so it's hard to believe I'm in trouble here. I'm not better either, though, because white does have the two bishops. Maybe I'm slightly worse, or maybe I will find a way to make my position slightly worse by playing terrible moves. Both of these options are very much in play. They're blundering a pawn, which is helpful, but maybe not helpful enough. My knight is pinned, unfortunately. Which one do we take? I guess this one. And I will get back to my specialty of grabbing pawns. I hope I'm not losing my rook on c3, but I do not see how. Should unpin at some point. Where to put the king? Here? I don't know. Now should be better. Two pawns are two pawns after all, but the conversion is still not simple at all. Hope I didn't blunder with a4. I have a feeling I'm blundering every move. That's what Nino Anton does to me. He's only playing random moves, but it always feels like he's up to something. Bishop d2. Did not see that one coming. Guess I should pin. Winning by pinning. Sort of has to take on b5, and now I was planning to take here. Very resilient, these guys. Resilient. I have a feeling I always mispronounce that word. can't stop them from getting a passed pawn too, but I do have more passed pawns. I'm sure their show is better though, in fairness. H4, bishop f8, is that a problem? Not sure it's much of a problem, but I prefer to avoid it. Should be winning, but I'm still very nervous. I'm live on Spanish television. Doesn't happen every day. What are they up to now? Are they trying to checkmate me? They're probably trying to checkmate me with very limited forces though. I will play along and get checkmated. Maybe they're just trying to flag me, but they might not be aware that I am the master of flagging and that that is a completely hopeless enterprise. I'm winning now, but I feel like I kind of cheated because I was concentrating and not talking enough. But bragging rights with these Spanish guys are extremely important, of course, so I hope you guys will forgive me. I'm gonna sign off now. Thank you for watching the show, and I highly recommend, if you understand any Spanish, or even if you don't, switch to the Spanish program, ajedrez, whatever it's called, dicharachero, whoever can pronounce that word, with David, Anton, and the rest of the crew. Thank you guys for watching, playing, joining Chess24. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Thank you.